What's up everybody, Matt Maran here, and I'm doing a quick drive video of the manual 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback. So I'm on the program for the Mazda 3 all-wheel drive launch, and at the very end of the launch here, they allowed us to have about a half an hour here to briefly drive the manual hatchback, and the manual is only front-wheel drive, so this one doesn't have all-wheel drive like the others that I reviewed. You can go watch that review for all my thoughts on how they drive. Otherwise, this video is just going to focus on the manual transmission here, and unfortunately I'm driving it in rush hour traffic, so not ideal circumstances, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what it's like to drive the manual version here. So starting off from a stop here, that's one thing that you notice immediately. The clutch is so natural feeling here in the manual Mazda 3. It has a very easy to learn engagement point. I mean, I literally just got thrown into this vehicle very quickly here, and I'm already used to it, and I'm already pretty smooth with it, which is impressive because, for example, with competitors like the Corolla hatch, that has such a light clutch pedal that it actually took me a few days to get used to really being smooth with it, and it was a little trickier. This is actually a little bit easier. It's also a nice light shifter. It has a shorter throw than stuff like the Corolla hatch, which I think is going to be the main thing people cross-shop this with, but the shifter feels really nice, a really nice high quality shift knob and everything, but all the gears and everything are very precise, feel pretty good, and so between the clutch and the shifter, it's a very easy to drive manual, which is always appreciated. Another nice thing about the manual is it's actually the lightest of all the Mazda 3s. So they've gained a little bit of weight, and I talked about that in my full review video, but the lightest version here is the manual hatch. These only weigh 3,022 pounds. And that's actually a pretty good weight loss, considering that's about almost like, first off, that's about, I think, 60 pounds lighter than an automatic if you were to go for a front-wheel drive hatch. But it's also, compared to the all-wheel drive ones, much lighter. The ones we were driving in the review were about 250 pounds heavier than this. So that makes a big difference, I think. And one thing that I'm noticing, though, is the gearing, too, for the manual here is it's pretty short gearing, but I love it because it means that I'm already in fourth gear at 45 miles an hour, and I'm still doing like 2,500 RPM, so it's very short with this gearing, but that means you have punch in every gear. Even in sixth gear, I was cruising on the highway a few minutes ago, and even in sixth gear, you have a little bit of power. You can pass people gingerly in sixth gear, whereas in the Corolla has a few less horsepower. That didn't really have much power to it in sixth gear there, and so this does feel a little punchier than the Corolla hatch, which I appreciate. Unfortunately, we don't have any good back roads to drive on around the Sacramento area here where I'm briefly driving this, so I can't really sample the handling too much, but I can say, even just trying to dodge potholes here, that it is certainly a better feel than the all-wheel drive cars. It's lighter, obviously being front-wheel drive, and this has the quicker turn-in that I enjoyed about the previous gen Mazda 3 that I feel is lacking a little bit in the all-wheel drive versions. It's just a little heavier, whereas it's actually lighter steering, it feels like, here for the manual, at least front-wheel drive versions, and feels good. This feels a little more close to the old Mazda 3 as far as the fun to drive and just the quickness in which it dives into corners and stuff. Again, not really able to do any kind of backroads carving here, but just from my first few little minutes of driving here, about all I can give you. I'm sorry it's not a better video in a better location and stuff, but I am really enjoying the way that this feels. And based on my a whole day of driving the all-wheel drive versions, I certainly think if you don't need the all-wheel drive, I would go for the front-wheel drive version. Not only is it cheaper, but it opens up the option for the manual if you want that, or even if you do want to stick with the automatic, I think you still are going to have a much lighter car, and that's going to make it feel much better. And so if you do care about handling and corner carving and stuff, I think definitely the front-wheel drive ones are the ones to get. All right, let's do a little acceleration here just to try it out briefly. It does a good job. It gets up and goes really well. Now, it's obviously raining and wet here, so that's why you have, the power is a little bit harder to put down. Of course, not going to have the all-wheel drive grip or anything, but still did a good job. And I think this is the one that's definitely more fun. I like the lighter steering. I like the lighter handling. Again, it's really hard to say without doing a full-on drive on some back roads and stuff. Just sitting here in traffic, though, it is certainly fun. A little acceleration. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, I could definitely see this being a very fun daily driver. So if you can do without the all-wheel drive, I think the front-wheel drive is definitely my preference, and the manual is definitely the way to go if you're an enthusiast. I think this would definitely be my pick of the litter. But anyway, yeah, huge thanks to Mazda for letting me have this brief drive here in the manual Mazda 3 hatch. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.